Mindfulness can be practiced in short bursts throughout the day. Even a few minutes of mindful breathing or observation can be beneficial. It's just about being aware and present in the moment and intentionally engaging your senses to harness that self-directed attention. Hey there, Bliss Seekers. Welcome back to A Wholistic Journey, Choose Your Hard podcast. I'm Steph, your guide on this wild, wonderful, and sometimes crazy adventure we call life. And I am so grateful that you've joined me on this journey where we explore the incredible power of the mind and its ability to transform our lives for the better. This is a safe space of wholeness, growth, and connection where we dive into motivational insights, mindfulness life practices, both mental and physical, holistic modalities, and some intuitive guidance through oracle decks, all of which are encompassing the mind, the body, the soul, and the spirit, the universal connection. And it's all designed to unlock your full potential. Together, we embrace positivity, self-care, and mental well-being to live happier, more fulfilling lives. And today, we're diving into mindfulness. You know, this word gets thrown around a lot. And let's be honest, it's pretty misunderstood. What's the first thing that you think of when you hear the word mindfulness? Is it meditation? I bet it's meditation. 9 times out of 10, that's literally what people think it is, which then makes them feel like it's unrelatable. It's this super Zen thing only yogis and monks can pull off. But let me tell you, mindfulness life practices are for everyone. Meditation is really just one of the modalities that you can practice. Mindfulness life practices they're practical, they are transformative, and dare I say it, not nearly as complicated as people make them out to be. In today's episode, we are debunking those big misconceptions about mindfulness life practices and unpacking what they're really all about. So grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's shed some light on what mindfulness truly is and what it isn't. I'll be diving into also some intuitive guidance from the universe and seeing what we can work on in our journey to our most authentic and highest self. The first misconception is that mindfulness is just meditation. Okay, so let's break it down. Let's start with what mindfulness is. Okay, now that's a bit of a tough question because what's mindfulness to one person doesn't look the same to another. For example, if I were to host a class and ask everyone in that class to draw a picture of a donut, go ahead, think of a donut in your mind and hold on to that image. Okay, let's go back to my example. Probably one person may draw a chocolate donut. Maybe someone draws a strawberry donut, and maybe one of them is vanilla with sprinkles, and so on. You get the idea. Now, probably I didn't even mention your donut, right? But at the end of the day, they're all donuts. So when it comes to mindfulness, one person may say, oh, well, it's meditation. Another person may say, oh, no, well, it's yoga practice. Another may say, well, it's breath work. None of them are wrong because, back to the donuts, mindfulness is essentially the dough. It's a concept. And modalities such as meditation, yoga, breath work, and like a million others are just the way that one can practice mindfulness. There are two key components of mindfulness. The first is awareness. It's having a broader sense of what's occurring in your inner and your outer experience without exclusive focus on just one thing. So, like having self awareness and also being aware of your surroundings. The second is attention, having self directed, intentional focus on a single stimulus. The way I define mindfulness is being present and aware in any given current moment experience that one chooses. It's awareness with intention, engaging all or some of the senses in whatever current moment it is that you're in. This one right here, the one that actually exists, in order to be wholly present, challenging your automaticity. If you're like, what the flipping flip-flops is that? Well, have you ever started your day out, gotten ready for work, driven into work, gotten there, and then asked yourself, oh shit, how did I even get here? I don't even remember being here. I don't even remember getting here. I don't even remember getting ready for work. That's automaticity. It's just going through the motions where you're just on automatic or autopilot. Get it? Auto. Meditation just happens to be one of the most common practices of mindfulness because you are intentionally being aware of your body, not just on the outside, by engaging your senses, such as your breath and how your posture feels, but also your inner state of mind. It's a self-directed, intentional focus. But you can do this also when you're practicing yoga, for example, being present, focusing on your breath and your muscles and your body and how it feels to loosen up. And you can do this through breath work, right? Again, focusing on the same things, your breath going in, traveling all the way to your lungs and out, or your belly and out. Remember the donuts? These are all donuts. They're just different flavors, different looks, but they are all working towards the same common goal, which leads me to my next concept. Mindfulness requires a lot of time. No. The misconception is that we have to practice mindfulness through these types of modalities. Okay, then I got to make time to go to these classes, find, a yoga studio, breath work workshop, whatever it may be. Like, not at all. Mindfulness can be practiced in short bursts throughout the day. Even a few minutes of mindful breathing or observation can be beneficial because remember, it's just about being aware and present in the moment and intentionally engaging your senses to harness that self-directed attention. So, for example, you can incorporate mindfulness into your daily routines, such as taking a few deep breaths before you start a task. Or how about when you're brushing your teeth? Instead of just going through the motions, stop and feel what it's like to have the bristles against your gums. Smell the minty, fresh smell of the toothpaste or whatever other flavor, if there's other flavors of toothpaste out there. I don't really know. you know, and while you do this, like just go through each of your five senses in that moment. Don't be anywhere else. My favorite is when showering. Oh, that's the best place because you can go through and go through all the senses and close your eyes, listen to how the water feels as it hits the tub or hits your body. You can smell your soapy scents if you don't use unscented soaps. Or what does the water smell like? Like, you can see if you're like me and you have the water a little too hot, you can see the vapors, right? Feel, what does it feel like? All that good stuff. Going through all of the senses. You can do it while driving. Please do it while driving. Please be focus while you're driving, petting your doggo, feeling the softness of the fur. There's literally plenty of pockets throughout the day where you can find time to practice mindfulness. And you may be thinking, well, that's not really a long time, but any short, consistent practice can be powerful and effective because it's really about consistency, since you're basically just retraining your brain to be more present. So the next misconception is that, well, mindfulness means, clearing your mind. No, it's not about emptying your mind of thoughts, but rather observing thoughts without judgment and bringing attention back to the present moment. Because the truth is, you're not going to get rid of your thoughts unless you're a monk. I'm going to question if they can really go completely thoughtless. Thoughts come and go. They're coming and going just as clouds are passing through the sky, right? So what mindfulness does is it helps in acknowledging your thoughts and your feelings without getting overwhelmed by them. Example is, let's say you're feeling anxious before a presentation or some other event. Well, instead of pushing anxiety away, mindfulness teaches you to acknowledge it. Take a moment to sit quietly and observe that feeling of anxiety. Notice where you feel it in the body. Is it a tightness in your chest or a fluttering in your stomach? By simply acknowledging and observing these sensations without judgment, you allow yourself to experience the emotion without being consumed by it. And then over time, this practice helps you reduce the power that anxiety holds over you. It makes it easier to manage stress. Even when you're meditating, again, it's still not about clearing your thoughts. It's about gently observing them without judgment. The goal is to create a sense of presence and acceptance. Like, oh, hey, thought, how you doing? I see you right there. I'm not going to let you take control of my situation right now. I've got this. It allows your thoughts to come and go naturally without getting caught up, right? And this practice helps cultivate a calm and focused mind, even amidst the mental chaos. Another misconception: mindfulness is a religious practice. So while mindfulness has roots in Buddhist meditation, it's a secular practice that can be embraced by people of all backgrounds and all beliefs all over the world. For example, mindfulness is widely used in modern psychology and therapy to help reduce stress and improve mental health. Techniques such as mindfulness-based stress reduction, or MBSR, and mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, MBCT, incorporate mindfulness practices to help individuals manage anxiety, depression, and stress. These therapies teach patients to focus on the present moment and observe their thoughts and feelings without judgment, which can lead to greater emotional regulation and a reduction in stress levels, because what it ultimately does is it teaches you how to rewire your brain for more positive thinking. You're creating new neural pathways in the brain. It teaches you how to control which thoughts you give power to. Next misconception: mindfulness is about being positive all the time. No, it is not puppies and rainbows all the time. Mindfulness involves accepting all the emotions, both the positive and the negative, without judgment. It's about being present with whatever you're experiencing. Example is, so imagine that you're feeling overwhelmed by sadness. Instead of trying to avoid or suppress this emotion, mindfulness teaches you to sit with it and observe it non-judgmentally. Do you notice there's a common theme here? It teaches you to recognize that this sadness is a message from your body, signaling something important. You might notice where the sadness manifests physically, like a heaviness in your chest, Well, by focusing on your breath and observing the sensation without reacting, you create a space between yourself and the emotion. And this non reactive awareness helps you understand and process the message behind the sadness more calmly, allowing you to respond to it more thoughtfully and compassionately. So it's not puppies and rainbows all the time. It just teaches you how to navigate all the emotions and being grateful for the emotions. Basically, you learn to have a different relationship with your body, building better self-awareness. And I know what you're thinking. Facing difficult emotions is hard. You may have a fear of facing difficult emotions because it can be uncomfortable if you've been avoiding difficult feelings. Nobody wants to be uncomfortable on purpose. I totally get that. But the only way to get past is through getting comfortable with the uncomfortable and facing emotions mindfully is a gentle and supportive way that provides benefits to you, long-lasting benefits. And the last misconception that I want to cover is that mindfulness is ineffective. There's a skepticism about its effectiveness because sometimes without experiencing the benefits firsthand, some people may doubt the effectiveness of mindfulness practices. Maybe you've tried a form of mindfulness a couple of times and it didn't work. Well, I hate to break it to you, but it's not fast food. Fast food is not good for you anyways. I digress. It is work because you're rewiring your brain. You are reshaping your habits. You're saying goodbye to paradigms and hello to control of your life. We create our reality. Our thoughts, they dictate our actions, which dictate our habits, which create our reality. So if you tried a couple of times and then quit, well, that's not going to do it. Think of it like working out. You aren't going to go to the gym for a month and expect to have a body that you want. And even then, when you get the body that you want, it's not going to stay that way unless you make working out a continuous way of life. This is the same thing, except you're working out your brain. Back to that question, are you going to get rid of negative thoughts? No, you're not going to get rid of any of your thoughts. Mindfulness just teaches you to recognize the thoughts that you want to give power to. And you're making that an automatic habit. Example, the other day I was out for a walk. I had a thought. It was late in the evening. I had this thought and immediately it came in and it was like, oh shit, I'm lonely. And then like not a second or two later, it was like, no, I'm free right now to do some self-reflecting out in this beautiful ass night under these beautiful stars and this beautiful moon. And I stopped and I engaged my senses and I closed my eyes and I was able to just be present in that moment and be grateful that I had that time to myself to walk out and do some self-reflection. It was freedom. And so immediately it was like the narrative changed without me even having to do any work because it was automatic. It came in and I was like, whoop, nope. We're going to be here. We're going to think these thoughts. You're reshaping your automatic narrative. That's what mindfulness is all about. Being present in the moment, reshaping your automatic narrative. Now that we've cleared up some of the biggest misconceptions about mindfulness, I wanted to share something special with you. Something I created to help you take that first step into practicing mindfulness in a way that feels approachable and empowering. It's my 5-step mindfulness guide. And you might be wondering, why 5 steps? Well, in numerology, the number 5 represents change, freedom, and adventure. Exactly what mindfulness invites into your life. It's about breaking out of the automatic patterns that hold you back and stepping into the present moment where true transformation happens. I designed this guide to help you navigate that shift with simple, actionable steps. And because I want to make it as easy as possible for you to start, I'm offering the first step of the guide for free. Just click the link in the description to grab it. It's a small but powerful way to begin creating a more mindful and intentional life. Before we wrap it up today, I want to take a moment to connect with something deeper, the energy of the universe. You might be wondering, what does that have to do with mindfulness? Well, mindfulness isn't just about being present in your body and your mind, it's also about recognizing the interconnectedness of everything, your thoughts, your emotions, your physical self, and the energy of the world around you. When we work on our mind, body, soul connection, we open ourselves to clarity, guidance, and alignment. And that's where intuitive tools like Oracle decks come in. They help us tap into the wisdom that's always available, both within and beyond us. Think of it as a way to tune into the bigger picture and get a little nudge from the universe on our journey towards wholeness. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be pulling a couple of cards from some of my decks. First, I'm going to pull a card from my Healing Oracle deck to see what it is that universe would like the collective to focus on healing. And then I'm going to pull two cards from my Blockages Oracle deck to see what it is that could be blocking our goals in that healing journey. Then I'm going to pull two messages from the universe, and I'm going to close that up with one card from my moon deck and just kind of tie everything together to get a full picture of what it is that the universe, spirit, God, the goddesses, whatever it is that you believe in, is trying to guide us through into growth. For this part, I am going to go Clark Kent mode on you guys, okay, and put my glasses on because I do not wear contacts. And these decks, sometimes the writing on these decks are super small. So, Clark Kent mode activated. What I'd like for you to do is let's take a deep breath and center yourself. You can close your eyes if you'd like. And let's see what insights come through for the collective today as guidance from the universe. So first, let's see what spirit would like us to know and focus on for healing. And with these readings, what I would like to tell you is that it is for the collective. So not everything may resonate. So just take what resonates and leave the rest. What is it that the collective needs to focus on healing today? So this card is saying it's number 13. So if that resonates with you, that's verification that this message is for you. It's honor your inner worlds. Play with your imagination. Pay attention to your dreams. There's so much waiting to be discovered within you. The affirmation is, I treasure the beauty of my inner worlds. And here's the card. See if you can see it. It's got this cute little leopard, it looks like. I'm gonna roll with leopard. These cards don't come with a book, and I'm not a zoologist, so I'm gonna roll with whatever I think this little creature looks like. But leopard energy, leopard spirit coming through. Let me see if I can get this to focus. I literally just had it. Ba-bam. Okay, so honoring your inner world, which is what we've been talking about. When it comes to mindfulness, it's all about your inner world, your inner and your outer world. What you're doing is you're working on those thoughts that dictate your actions and create your reality. By working on the inner, you affect the outer. And so let's see what blockages collective needs to work on specifically to gain better understanding and growth on our journey. The two blockages that we've got is one of them is being too serious. So some of y'all are caught up in seriousness, and being caught up in seriousness makes it hard to enjoy what you're doing. In order to honor your inner world, which back to our card, play with your imagination, pay attention to your dreams. There's so much waiting to be discovered within you. Some of you all are not, you're not listening to what your body is trying to tell you. You are too focused on the seriousness of everything. The way to release that blockage is to smell the roses, it says. When you take life too seriously, you risk losing sight of what actually needs your attention. Move away from thinking your purpose is your job, and you will start to see your life in a new light. And so here's that card. She's looking very angry. She's very serious and caught up on something that's just, I don't know. I'm getting the sense of somebody just focusing too hard on something external that isn't even making them happy. And then the other blockage is too many things at once. So some of you are doing too many things at once. It says doing too many things at once is only delaying your success. So in order to clear the blockage, focus on one thing. It's inevitable that when you try to tackle too many things at once, something is not getting the attention it needs. Slow down, choose one thing, and go deep in that one thing. Okay, so here's your blockage card. I'm getting a common theme here. So first of all, with the honoring your inner worlds and paying attention to your dreams, your imagination, that takes me back kind of like to, makes me think of like childhood, when you're pretending to be, I don't know, a ballerina or something, right? Like whatever it is, right? When you were children and you were not held back by anything. When you were children, you thought to yourselves, oh, I can be anything. I mean, I don't know about you, but back then I was like, yeah, I can be a doctor, I can be a scientist, I can be this, I can be that. But with these blockages, what I'm getting is that the attention is not being focused on what's making you happy. Ultimately, right? Playing pretend and pretending to be and feeding your imagination was a way of having fun, was a way of like being happy. And with these blockages, this is like, I get this, like immediately my face wants to scrunch up because I'm like, okay, we're doing something that we don't love to do, and we're doing way too much of it. Like we're doing way too many things, and none of it making us happy. And so we need to stop and focus on what's going to make us happy. Okay, so let me go ahead and Spirit, can we clear this up? Let's get some messages, please. Okay, that one wanted to fly out. And this one as well. Okay. Okay, so the first message that came out was when you hold on to the past, it stops you from living in the present. Release any old hurts or worries or regrets. Commit to being in the here and the now. Forgive yourself for where you think you may have been wrong. You deserve inner peace. Let it go. Interesting. Okay. Okay, so with that specific message, that's very specific. So when it comes to, for some reason, what I'm getting is an example of someone who is almost burying themselves in a shit ton of stuff that's not making you happy. And maybe it is. Maybe you're doing, your job and okay, it's bringing you money and maybe it's fulfilling a part of maybe it's fulfilling a part of your day-to-day life, but it's not fulfilling everything. It's not bringing you full fulfillment. It's not making you super happy because you're not paying attention to your inner child. You're not focusing on things that make you happy. This tells me something may have happened and you're kind of using your work and diving into or not even, maybe it's not even just your work, but also like whatever, all of these other extra curricular things that you're doing, you're using those as a distraction to not face those uncomfortable emotions and focus on what your body, what your mind is trying to tell you, what spirit is trying to tell you. Like spirit is trying to help you. Spirit wants you to go inwards, right? So back to the mindfulness theme. When you are stuck in this state of constant do, okay, because for whatever this person was, whoever this is, something happened. Being stuck in those lower vibrational energies, distracting from not wanting to face it, you're not going to be able to move forward unless you do. When you're stuck in those constant rumination of, oh, well, this happened and I wish I had done things better. What could I have done? What did I do wrong? Being in that constant state of ruminating on all of that past stuff, but then and also distracting yourself to not do the inner work, you're not going to move forward. You're going to continue to stay stuck. So doing mindfulness life practices, like working on sitting with it and releasing that energy and understanding that, okay, what happened, happened. It's done. There's nothing that you can do about it. You cannot change it. You cannot move it. You cannot redo it unless you have mastered going back into time and redoing it. You're not going to be able to change it. There is an acceptance that is needed to be had here to understand that the past is the past. All you can do is look at life as in this way. Every moment in life is made up of lessons, opportunities, and choices. If it is a good moment, well, that's an opportunity to choose to be mindful in that moment, paying attention to what is going on, to who you're with, being grateful for the time that you're spending with those people. So like if you're sitting there and you're playing with your kid and she wants you to, we're having a tea party. Okay, well then sit there, have your pretend tea, drink that pretend tea, and don't think about what you have to do tomorrow, what you're going to do later, what you guys are going to have for dinner, or whatever. Like, be in the moment that matters. It's the present. That is the only one that matters because that's the only one that's happening. That's the only one that's in existence. Everything else from the past is done. And when it's not such a happy moment, that's a lesson. There's a lesson to be learned there. Okay, so with whomever this is, like reflect, sure, where could you have been a better version of yourself if you feel that you did something wrong? And also what this tells me, forgive yourself for where you think you may have been wrong. Okay, that's someone also taking accountability, which is great. Like one of the things that most people don't do when something goes wrong is take accountability for the fact that it takes two to tango. It takes two to tango for the good stuff, it takes two to tango for the bad stuff. So taking accountability is a huge step in your growth. And understanding though that, okay, all you can do is learn from it and say, okay, well, I can do this better next time, like in the future with whomever next, whether it's the same person in your rec cell or with new people in the future, that's fine. Learn from it. If it was someone that hurt you in some kind of way, forgive them, not for them, but for you. Don't hold on to any of that negative energy, because that negative energy that is stored, that manifests into all the bad stuff that happens in our bodies, diseases, inflammation, whatever. So you need to let it go. The other message, one day when you least expect it, you're going to crash into someone who is going to be so soft and gentle with your heart. And you're going to be so glad that you kept it open. You're going to be so glad that you chose to believe it deserved more. Okay, so whomever I'm picking up on here, some of y'all have been through something and you've been hurt and you are closing yourself off and you are focusing on all of these distractions rather than doing the work. But doing the work is going to lead you to the good stuff, because when you do the work, what you're doing is you're changing that vibration. So if you're staying in a state of lack, is what it is, that's what you're going to attract. That's all you're going to let in. So rather than doing that, Spirit is asking you to dive in, focus inwards, and do the work and release it. Not for anybody else, but for you, because you deserve inner peace. Okay, so the card that came out is number 12. I am of the earth and in harmony with nature. Okay, so she's laying in nature. She's one with nature. So what Spirit is saying here is find that space that makes you happy and do that work. And if that's out in nature for you, then do that. That's totally out in nature for me. Like if I need to any kind of shadow work, if I need to look inwards, if I need to listen to the universe and see like my place of replenishment, if I need to just like replenish, and nature is my happy place. I'm going to find a trail and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to sit on a rock by a creek and I'm going to meditate. Or I'm just going to walk out there with no headphones on, no music on, nothing, and just listen to what the universe has to say. Okay, so the card is Earth. I am of the earth and in harmony with nature. We are forces of nature and carry the fertile, creative, elemental beauty of the earth within us. We were born from it and are an embodiment of her harmonious cycles. Earth, my body, water, my blood, air, my breath, and fire, my spirit. Like the earth and all of her wild elements, you pulse through and permeate all that you touch. You contract and expand, gather and release, rise and fall. When you're in harmony with nature, you can allow this dance to lead you with less force and more flow. Communicate with the elements and pay attention to the softest of whispers. Ground yourself in the soil and unleash your creative life force. Our beloved Mother Earth generously provides for us and is our sacred home. In respecting her lush bounty with gratitude and love, we reflect self-respect and healing for all. Together, we're connected to her wise rhythms. When we talk about interconnectedness, that is with everything. because we are all energy, and that is in nature as well. It's all energy. And so resetting, going out into nature and finding that inner peace and finding that inner strength to learn the lesson and then choose, make the choice to release it, to forgive yourself, whatever you want to forgive yourself for, and forgive whomever hurt you for you and let it go. But it is a choice. Ultimately, at the end of the day, right, it's all a choice. We are the ones that decide what we want our reality to be. Do we want to stay in that state of constant unhappiness and busyness and hurt? Or do we want to live our lives in joy and in happiness? We are not meant to be living our lives in all of this negative energy. We're not meant to be living our lives in constant state of sadness and all of these other lower vibrations, in anger, in hurt. That's not living. When you're living, you are in joy. You are in happiness. You are enjoying just the fact that you're alive. There is so much to be grateful for. There are so many things that can come our way when we open ourselves up to that state of abundance and gratitude. That state of abundance and gratitude as far as like, okay, well, yeah, that bad stuff happened. But when you start to look at life like, okay, it's a lesson or it's an opportunity, then you start to be in a state of gratitude even for the bad stuff, the bad events, right? Or the bad events, because there's not really good or bad events. They're just events. And then your perspective is really what is important. Like I said, is it an opportunity for the good stuff, or is it just a lesson? Like, so when I look at it that way, I don't see the lesson as a bad thing. I see it as an opportunity. It's another opportunity for growth. And then you choose. Do you want to stay in that? Do you want to continue to look at it in a victim mentality? Or do you want to say, okay, thank you, universe. Thank you, spirit, for showing me, now I know what I want to work on myself inwardly to be a better version and in a state closer to my higher self and who I'm supposed to be. And also, thank you, universe, for this lesson that, you have shown me with this person who hurt me. Now I know what I want. Now I know what I don't want, Now I want someone who's going to be soft and gentle with my heart. So poetic. I want someone who's going to treat me with respect. I want someone who's going to see my self-worth. Now I have self-worth. Now I have self-love and self-respect. And now I know what I'm not going to settle for. So that's the message I have for you today. Again, because this is a message for the collective, I don't know who needed to hear that and who didn't. And maybe parts of those things resonated with you. Again, take what resonates and leave the rest. It's for the collective. So I thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of A Wholistic Journey, Choose Your Heart. And I hope that you feel inspired to approach mindfulness in a way that resonates with you and to explore the deeper connections that align your mind, body, and your soul. Don't forget to download the first step of my 5-step mindfulness guide. It's free, and you can find the link in the description. And if you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need a little more mindfulness in their life. Until next time, stay present, choose your heart, and keep creating a life that you love. I'm so grateful for you. You've got this, and I've got your back. I'm sending you so much love and light. See you next time. Just a quick disclaimer. It's the legal stuff. The guidance, insights, and oracle readings shared here are intended for informational, inspirational, and entertainment purposes only, and aren't a substitute for professional, medical, legal, or psychological advice, diagnosis, or treatment. As a life guide and intuitive, I'm here to offer support and guidance to help you navigate your journey with mindfulness and positivity. Remember, you're always in control of your choices, and it's important to seek licensed professionals when you need them. And while I am a licensed life coach, I am not your life coach. By listening, you accept that any decisions or actions that you take based on this podcast are your own responsibility. I thank you so much for being here and trusting me to be a part of your journey. I love you so much, and I am so grateful for you. With love and light, see you next time.